Hello, this is John from the Mercenary Miniature Painter page, and I am here with my good friend Jeff. We've both been rained off today, so we're at Firestorm, so we thought we'd come and have a couple of games. First game is gone and done. On to the next one, which we have matched up Dwarves against Lizards. We're playing Ancient Artefact, which is in the middle, hence the deployment and whatnot. I'll quickly run you through the armies. So the Dwarves have got 20 Longbeards full command, 19 Hammers full command, 20 Great Weapons full command, 10 Thunderers, a Gyro, a Bolt Thrower, an Organ Gun, some Miners in reserve, and then characters we have brought the Anvil today, Thane 1 and Thane 2. For the Lizards, Jeff has got one unit of Skinks here with Crocsagores behind, another unit of Skinks here with the Sallies behind, another unit of Skinks there, some Jungle Swarms, Pterodons, and these are Temple Guard. How many of them is there, Jeff?
16.
16 Temple Guard full command. And then we got some Chameleons in here. Because he's been learning from Mr. Storch too much, they're apparently hid in the building.
The Chameleons.
And then for characters we got Generation 2 Slan, and he rolled up 1 and 6 from Heavens, which is the rerolls, and the Comet, and then 3 and 4 from Shadows, which is make his unit cause fear.
It's got lightning.
You changed it, didn't you? Yeah, sorry. The D6, yeah. And then 3 and 4 on the Shadows, which gives him causes fear, and then Pelt of Midnight.
Yeah, something like that.
And then the 2 Skink Priests just here. One's got 1 and 4, the other's got 1 and 3. So the Magic Missile with no armor saves, the Magic Missile with armor saves, and both the rerolls. That is 2,250 points, both sides. And we'll be back. Lizards won the roll off, so we'll be back with Lizard turn 1. On you, Jeff. Turn 1 for the Lizardmen. Everything all moved up. Moved into woods over here. Moved up over here. The Chameleons come out of the building and come to here. And the Pterodons, it flew just round to there. Magic phase, because I've got the Anvil and I got the Rune of Balance, I've managed to steal a dice off that slant. He did get a big Comet off, which I scrolled, so he's pulled my scroll out. And then these gents in here, one done Urannans on the Organ Gun. It went through on a 666 and he killed 1 crew. If anyone can, the Hammers have got the banner of Grugny, but it says specifically Magic Missile based, which I don't think Urannans is actually classed as Magic Missile, so we didn't give him the ward save. Shooting, the Chameleons done nothing. All the rest of the stuff marched up, and Jeff thought the Salamanders were out of range, so he didn't shoot them. So good turn 1 for the Dwarves. I didn't lose too many. On to turn 1 for the Dwarves. Dwarf turn 1. The Longbeards moved up. Hammers moved up. These gents reformed. And then the Gyro come over here. Obviously no magic. In the shooting phase, the cannon done 3 wounds against the Jungle Swarm.
5? Oh, the
3, yeah. 3 wounds off the cannon. The Gyrocopter burnt 4 Chameleons alive. The Anvil done the D6 strength 4 on the Pterodons and killed 1 Pterodon. And then the Organ Gun blasted these Skinks and killed 7 of them. But lucky for Jeff, everything passed all his panic checks, even though the Slan's all the way over there. So that is how that was. A pretty successful Dwarf turn 1. On to the Lizard turn 2. Lizardmen turn 2 from your old mate Jeff. Everything's sort of moved up again. Everything's still, he's a bit scared of the Anvil, so still 2 inside the woods, so I can't see it. This is all shuffled round. These have come round, and he did have a charge with the Pterodons on the Gyrocopter. The Chameleon skimped on there. In the magic phase, you've got Comet off, which on my turn we'll see if that detonates. And then you've got killed another crew on the Organ Gun, and then miscast and ended the magic phase. In the shooting, he killed 2 Hammers with these Skinks, only 1 Longbeard with the Sallies. and the rest of the shooting done nothing. And then in the combats, the pterodon's done a wound to the gyro, but the gyro killed one back and he decided to fall back, so obviously I couldn't pursue. And that's how we fought onto dwarf turn 2. Right, dwarf turn 2. Charges. The gyrocopter charged the pterodon, which duly fled, and that's how they ended up. Remaining moves, the longbeards come up, the hammers come up to there, these guys reformed again. These went off, sorry, just to say the comet didn't come down, and everything else stayed as it was. Magic phase, I tried stopping the comet but couldn't, and then in the shooting phase, the cannon hit the salamanders through the skinks, killed a skink, killed another skink, and then wounded the salamander but only done one wound. The bolt thrower then hit the salamanders and then only done one wound again. The thunderers moved so they couldn't shoot. The gyrocopter done the same, but then the anvil made the longbeards charge. The croxagores fled to there, so I redirected into the salamanders, who have now fled to there. So the lizards have got a few rallies to make on their turn, and it's over to them. Let's see if this comet comes down again. Right, Lizardman turn 3. No charges. That chap over there rallied. These rallied. They rallied. Sorry to say the miners come on in the dwarf turn 2, and the organ gun did blow itself up, I forgot to say. Rest of the stuff just shuffled round. Skinks got half arc. These will come over here. These popped out the woods. These come out the woods there. Magic phase. Another comet off down here.
I didn't forget them. I'm going to shoot them.
Another comet come off down there. And then that was about it, I think. Everything else was either stopped or didn't do anything. In the shooting phase, these skinks killed a hammerer. And that was it for Lizardman turn 3. On to dwarf turn 3. Radio, dwarf turn 3. The miners charged the croxagores. You can see how that went. The gyrocopter charged the pterodon. In the shooting, the cannon shot the skinks, killed 2. The thunder shot the skinks, killed another 2. And then the anvil rung, charged these boys in against the croxagores, who have fled to over there. And that was Houston. In the combat phase, the bolt thrower again hit the salamanders but failed to wound him. In the combat phase, he's done 2 wounds to a croxagore, who then done 3 wounds back, and then they outnumbered, so they won combat. I was outnumbered by fear causing enemy, ran to there, but Jeff tested to restrain, so that's how that's ended up. And the good old gyrocopter hit and killed the pterodon, so he's gone, and that's how that is. So that is the end of dwarf turn 3. The comet did come down again, but Jeff only rolled a 1, which hit the anvil and done nothing. And that is dwarf turn 3. On to Lizardmen turn 4. Right, turn 4 for the lizards. The croxagores did rally. There was no charges to declare. Everything else just sort of moved round and moved about. In the magic phase, it was disastrous for Jeff. I managed to stop everything, or he didn't cast it. So that was lucky for me, or he didn't wound anything. And then in the shooting phase, he did do a bit better. He killed 5 hammerers with all the skink shooting, and then he killed 2 longbeards with the salamander shooting. Just for the objective at the minute, on the counters, Jeff is currently 3-2 up for it. So that's 400 points at the end of the battle, which will make a lot of difference come then. On to dwarves turn 4. Right, dwarf turn 4. The hammerers charged the skinks, who duly fled. The longbeards charged the croxagores, who again fled. The gyrocopter come over here. The great weapons come up right there. The thunderers come forward to try and contest the objective a bit more. The miners did rally, and that was that. In the shooting phase, the cannon done a grape shot at the skinks and wiped them out. The bolt thrower, even with the rune of skewering on the croxagores, rolled a 1, as you do. So done nothing. The thunderers obviously moved, and then the anvil move the Longbeards. Jeff has chosen to flee with the Temple Guard. He did only flee 2, so it was a bit of squeaky bum time, but they were far enough out the way to get away. And then the Gyrocopter, done with his flame, done a wound to 1 Croxagore and killed 2 Temple Guard. And that is as we are on Dwarf turn 4. Jeff got the token still, so he's 4-2 up. Over to Lizard, turn 5. Right then, Lizard's turn 5. Luckily for Jeff,
No, luckily.
they all rallied. But these boys didn't, which is going to help my hammerers out. So they fled to there. In the magic phase again, unluckily for Jeff, he still can't kill my Gyrocopter. He keeps getting these spells off, but he can't wound it. So, but he done 1, it's down to 1. But he did get a comet off down here again. And then in the shooting phase, his salamanders ate another 2 of his handlers, killed 2 more hammerers. Skink's done nothing against the hammerers, and that was that. Oh, sorry, charges the Crocscores charged my Longbeards. I did flee because I was miles away, so I'm hoping to get a nice rally, and then the old anvil,
Which is going to be dead.
send them in where they need to be. Right, on the Dwarfs, turn 5, and a comet to come down again. Right, Dwarf turn 5. There was no charges to declare because I couldn't do any. The Longbeards rallied and reformed to face that way. The miners come up there. Hammers stayed where they're 2. Thunderers moved up to there, and these great weapons moved to here. And then in the shooting phase, these were obviously 2 inches in out the woods, so the cannon shot up that way, killed 2 skinks and 1 temple guard because it went right the way through, hit the slam, but he's got 2 up ward save. Bolt thrower missed again, and then more importantly, the anvil, after they reformed, let these boys move into combat. The Gyrocopter did flame and killed another 2 temple guard. Comet didn't come down, sorry, missed that. And then in the combat phase, we killed the skink priest, who obviously had to be in the front rank. And then in the combat, yeah,
What was that?
I've done a bit of Jonathan Wass there, didn't I? And then Jeff issued a challenge, my thing took it. She killed his champ for 1. We won the combat comfortably, but they are stubborn, so they've held. And that's setting it up nicely for Lizardman turn 6. I did win this token this time, so Jeff is 5-3 up with 2 turns left. On to you, my friend. Right, Lizardman turn 6. The Croxagores there and there all surrounded the Longbeards in a big melee in the middle there. Salamanders moved up. These boys charged the Thunderers there. The Skinks come there to try and polish off the Gyrocopter.
And failed.
You sound a bit bitter about that, Jeff. So, obviously in the magic phase, Jeff did try and kill the Gyrocopter a lot.
And failed.
And they failed. Sorry, the comet never went off. And then in the shooting, the Skinks couldn't finish it off either. And failed. And then I did pop the Oath Stone with old Helga over here, but the Croxagores absolutely butchered my poor Longbeards. And even the Skink Priest managed to kill my champion, which meant I couldn't kill him, annoyingly. And we broke from combat, but I know everyone says dwarves are slow. My boys went 10, so a mighty 9, and Jeff only rolled 2 6s. So that's pretty much how it ended up. One thing in Jeff's favour, the Jungle Swarms only killed 2 of the Thunderers and they held. But the one thing in Jeff's favour is he moved close enough in to the objective, so he has now won that. So he is 400 points up from the start, which could be pretty crucial come the end. So that is how it lies. On to Dwarf turn 6. Let's see how we can try and get some points back. Right, Dwarf turn 6. These boys charged those few little skinks that were left there and obviously massacred them. The Hammers charged the flank of the Croxagores. The Miners moved up to there. Annoyingly for me, which could cost me, these boys never rallied. Even though it was on a 10, I rolled an 11. Comet went off. It did kill my cannon, but never done anything to the Rune Lord. And then in the shooting phase, the gyrocopter did luckily get the temple guard under half, even to Jeff's protests. And then that was the shooting. The bolt thrower didn't manage to hit the salamanders, but the anvil, who was on form all game, never failed one, moved the miners into the salamanders. Then in the combats, obviously like I said, the great weapons butchered the skinks. The hammerers didn't butcher the croc scores, but we done enough to make them break and flee. And then in here, we've whiffed, but luckily we just tied the combat. But Jeff over here, they did manage to break the Thunderers and run them down. So it's going to be a very tight game. I think with Jeff's 400 extra points, he might just sneak it. But we'll come back with a summary after we've calculated up. Right, after the calculating, we both said what a thoroughly good game it was and how we enjoyed it. But the Lizardmen have claimed the win, and it's down to the objective. Well done, Jeff. Obligatory handshake. So Jeff got 1534. He got one banner and the objective, which was obviously 400 points. So that gave him a good 500 point swing. And I only managed to get 884 with units under half. I never got to get the big 2 there. What do you think, mate? Did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great game.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, Dwarves are always a bit awkward to play against.
The points were a little bit
tighter.
I thought they were much tighter.
Yeah. Obviously, if the Longbeards would have rallied the last turn, they got the Thane in.
Oh, of course they
Yeah,
yeah.
that was. I think that's what swung it for you. In the end, that would have just given me a draw. But it wasn't enough to claim back. I didn't even think if these boys would have killed the Salamanders, it would have made a difference. But thoroughly enjoyed, mate. Thank you for the day. Thank you for the day. Hopefully, we get you on the channel again, Jeff. And we'll see you all again. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and do all that stuff. And we'll see you on the other side. Cheers.